Aberdeen in recovery.
Aberdeen in recovery.
Aberdeen in recovery.
Aberdeen in recovery. We're here for you. Building that bridge from dependence to independence.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Recovery on AiR on Shmu 99.8 FM. I'm Lindsay from Aberdeen in Recovery, and joining me this week is Stevie, John, Dermot, and Joan, also from AiR. So how are we all this week? Joan, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, good today.
Good stuff. Stevie, how about yourself? How are you today?
Yeah, I'm fine. Looking forward to the day. I was getting a bit, feeling a lot like disconnected. We've been isolated away. It was beginning to take toll. So I've picked up over the last couple of days. So that's good.
Good stuff. Yeah, I know you'll not be the only one. I'm starting to feel it myself a bit now. John, how about you? How are you today?
Yeah, not bad. Steady as it goes. Much like everyone else.
Yeah. And Dermot, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm honky-dory. I was going to throw in that I'm all grumpy and sad and thingy just to be different, but no, I'm fine. Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah,
can't complain.
Tickety-boo, as they say, yeah. That's great. So last week we were speaking at the last 2 weeks, in fact, we've been speaking about September being Recovery Month and celebrating all things recovery. And it's more of the same again today. September is, after all, Recovery Month. What we're going to be chatting about today is a bit more in depth in terms of tools and things that you can use to help. As Stevie mentioned there, everybody's starting to really, feel it now, and it is taking its toll. I think particularly, certainly from my perspective, I was sort of hoping and looking forward to getting back to the office this week. So last week's announcement that wasn't going to be happening, deflated, I think, is the word that I can use just now for myself. I'm just feeling a wee bit deflated. But yes, so we shall try and offer some advice and some assistance for folk to help muddle through these times.
You're listening to Recovery on AiR at Shmu 99.8 FM. Recovery, a journey of discovery. Welcome
back, everyone. So September is Recovery Month. We have established pretty much drum now and are struggling a little bit. So we thought one of the things that we could talk about today, it's sort of going right back to the beginning of pretty much everyone's recovery journey, really, and introducing a little bit about learning journeys and things that you can maybe throughout this session. So Dermot, do you want to introduce a little bit about what learning journeys and things, what that's all about? What does that mean?
Yep. Some of the guys in the show today, Stevie, Lindsay, Joan, have all done the DART self-coaching course, which was run through ADA, Alcohol and Drugs Action. John hasn't actually embarked on it, but as we were saying earlier on, a lot of the tools are things that we probably are aware of, but maybe just in different names, just in different titles. So Lindsay was speaking about on the journey. It really comes from one of the tools that we introduced it very early on in the self-coaching course is the comfort zone. And if you're stuck in a comfort zone, which lots of good stuff in a comfort zone, but it can also be a little bit of a too comfortable. We can get really trapped in it. And the suggestion in the model is that the best way to pull ourselves out of a comfort zone, if we are wishing to do so, is to embark on a learning journey. Now, Lindsay was speaking about the learning journey. That's actually an exercise that we try to encourage the candidates to do. And in that process, it's looking back over a recent event or a recent period of time where you found yourself wanting to make some changes in your life and how you embarked or didn't on that process, but also recognize the ups and the downs involved in that process as you journeyed along in your the actions that you had taken to try and complete that process. It could be something as simple as redecorating your living room, or it could be something fairly complicated, taking out about a behaviour change. That could be taking up a lot more exercise, or going on a diet, or looking to change or adopt some new behaviours because you found yourself in a situation where the behaviours you were indulging in were becoming very unhealthy and problematic. So a learning journey really encompasses, and putting down in a written form, all the ups and downs of that journey. It recognises that there's got to be good times, there's got to be bad times. But one of the main reasons is, if you're looking back, we can often look back and see just negatives from our past experience. But in writing down and working through a learning journey on a written process, you can actually see in evidence where you have progressed, where you have succeeded, where you might not identify straight away. But in a written process, as you work yourself through that learning journey, you'll see where you had made progress. And that's one of the early tools that we kick in. I think the guys may have done the learning journeys in the past, and maybe throw it over to them, see what their experiences of completing the learning journey.
Yeah, I think that's it's so valid just now as well, because, you know, as much as we've sort of tackled it within ourselves in our own recovery, I think there'll be a lot of people up and down the country at the moment looking at themselves and thinking about change. And like you say, even if it is a decorating the living room, or there's going to be lots and lots of people that have done lots and lots of those things over the past few months. So yeah, I guess it's a case of, like you say, breaking it down and, you know, taking it from there. When we were discussing about sort of speaking about this today, I raked out actually my old dark stuff from 3 years ago now, and I raked out my learning journey up until that point, and yeah, all it done was reinforce the fact that I can't draw. Yeah, I really can't draw. However, it was fun looking back on it, and especially paying attention to how far I've come since then. Anybody else thinking about, you know, what else they've been maybe wanting to change, particularly over this last period of time?
I can't say anything much about art, Lindsay, but I can say stuff about the dark, like what we did at dark, like learn, like what I did at the beginning of the lockdown. I found out, rather than, oh no, I'm up at 7 o'clock, I've got here until 10 o'clock tonight. So breaking my day down to mornings, to afternoons, to evening. Evenings just basically after your supper, just chilling and that, but break it down in the morning and afternoon and get yourself into some kind of routine. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. I found doing my learning journey quite good, because I've just kind of looked over it just now and seen how far I've came from there, and that was only a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Quite surprising and quite good to see.
It is, and I think that shows the value of what Dermot was talking about writing things down and putting it on, documenting where you were. And albeit, again, like he said, it's not always all bad. There is good stuff in there. But it really helps you focus, I think, and you know, look more inwards at yourself. And it's certainly for me, it's how far I've came along emotionally. It's very much an emotional journey. It's internal. It's, you know, I'm looking at my old drawing, and there's the picture of the house and the car and the, you know, but that's almost white noise now. Yeah. You know, even although I don't have those things, that what I've achieved in such a short space of time, really, it's internal, and that's, you can't put a value on that.
No, it's priceless, is it? It's priceless.
John, I know you've not done the dark course. I don't really mean to put you on the spot, but can you sort of, you know, relate to perhaps where you've decided that you are going to make a change and how you've went about doing that?
Yeah, I mean, early in the lockdown, of course, that was a big change, and similar to what Steve was saying, that it took a little while for me to kind of settle into a routine and to adapt. You know, that the things I had been doing and that had structured my typical day, my typical week, either were no longer available or they had changed form. Things were very fluid. And it's kind of easy to to slip, I suppose, to no longer be keeping that constructive routine and maintaining the sort of good habits and looking after yourself that would normally just be a part of every day. So it took a little while to just settle myself back to a routine, adapting. And that absolutely is kind of a subset, I guess, of the recovery journey in general. Again, another change, I have to adapt to it. In this case, it was a little bit more, well, it was unexpected and perhaps even imposed, but very analogous, absolutely.
Brilliant, thanks, John. Yeah, so yeah, lots of changes being, like you say, Dermot, it starts off with your comfort zone, and I think very much we're almost forced out of that comfort zone, certainly initially, but it's amazing how quickly you create a new by making those changes.
Yeah, over the last 2 years, it's just surprising how broad my comfort zones got to where it was when I started when I did the dark course. Just isolated, just like now, isolated away and stuff. And then for the last 2 years, I'm in town doing meetings every day. I'm not in town shopping or anything. I'm in town doing recovery meetings and stuff. Just helps massively.
I love the word you used there as well, Stevie, broad. You know, you've broadened your comfort zone. It's added to it. It's grown bigger. And yeah, I love that. I love that concept. It's not, I think that sometimes when you're making change as well, it's a bit daunting, and you think, you know, it's almost like you're thinking that that you have to shut down everything that you knew before, and that's not the case. You're adding to it and broadening it, the spectrum of it.
Yeah.
You're listening to Recovery on AiR at Shmu 99.8 FM. Recovery, a journey of discovery. Welcome
back, everyone. So yeah, today we're talking about different learning that we do in recovery that I think everyone out there, particularly just now, will get some value out of. We've all been forced into making changes at the moment, whether we wanted to or not. and managing that can be really tough. So before the break there, we were speaking about embarking on a journey of change, and within that, there's different sort of stages. Dermot, do you want to explain a bit more about how that's more broken down, so people can at least have an idea of where to start or where they are within that process?
Yep. The learning journey, I gave some explanations earlier about some of the reasons behind why we encourage people to put a learning journey onto paper. But if we move forward with that, and again tying in the purpose of setting a goal, it's a really good idea to break that down into different points. So if we had done a previous learning journey, part of that exercise would be to work and introduce the stages of change, which is a model that most people will have heard of. Stages of change, cycle of change, which involves pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and graduation. And that allows us to break down a plan of action, so that it's not, you know, I want it and I want it now. It actually gives us stages to judge where we may be at that any one certain point, and allow us to see and recognize our milestones of success. Also, it gives us an accurate picture of where we are in trying to accomplish that goal that we've set ourselves. And I think Joan, she has recently embarked on she's set herself a goal, a little wee change in the restrictions to things that we can do. And I think if Joan's happy enough to use that as an example, we'll be able to say, you know, get a really good picture of how we take a learning journey and then incorporate the stages of change model into that to help us to stage. What about you, John?
Yeah. I mean, it's a journey that I've been on before, and like lots of learning journeys, you can come back to it and come back into it and do it again. And it's to do with exercise, and it's about, my goal is to get back to the fitness that I had pre-COVID. Like a lot of people, kind of comfort zone in a way that, yes, I got out walking, but I was really restricted in what I could do. So I lost a lot of the fitness that I built up before. So now coming out of some of the restrictions, I can get back to the gym. So I was sort of contemplating, how am I going to get back to my fitness? So thinking about it, I thought, right, I need to have a plan. I need to prepare for this. What am I going to do? So I was kind of in the contemplation. I need to get back to my fitness. I need to then think about what I need to do. So to prepare for it, I need to get back to the gym, which I now have done. So I've joined the gym. But also in preparation, I need to think about an exercise plan that's going to get my strength back, you know. So I went back into what I did before. So I revisited some of the exercise plans that I did before. And then the next stage is really putting that into action. So I've done a bit of the preparation and I've actually started the action. I've gone back to the gym and I've got a bit of an exercise plan at the moment, and I'll build up on that plan over time. So I'll put it into action. And then hopefully over time, I'll maintain that plan and my fitness will get back. And my goal is to get back to the fitness that I had pre-COVID, get my strength back again.
Excellent.
So that's quite a simple plan. It's not a great big learning, but there'll be lots of learning along the way when I get, you know, to get to that goal. I've got to relearn what I did before. And yeah, so yeah, lots of learning.
Yeah. And that's absolutely very descriptive in how, yes, circumstances have been, it's quite understandable to lead, it's quite understandable to appreciate that lots of people are very frustrated. The reintroduction of some of the restrictions, where we thought we were making progress, and now it seems like we're going 5 steps backwards. But we can stay in the angst, we can stay in the problem, we can live in the problem, or we can actually make a decision to see, what can I do to change? And I think what you described there is a perfect use of how you set yourself a goal, you know you will embark on a learning journey, but you need to break that down into sections so that you can see how you're achieving and progressing through it. And I think Stevie and I had a conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
And,
yeah,
and
yesterday.
we identified some goals that we were speaking about, how we were really a wee bit
disconnected.
Yes, disgruntled.
Just feeling a little bit like, because I haven't been to my meetings and stuff, I just now feel like my comfort zone's shrunken again, whereas it was getting broad, it was broad, and you know what I mean, before.
Yeah, we identified some goals about, what was it, spring cleaning?
Yeah, it was to get out my tools that I've got, and use the ones that I need every day, and put them like, not get rid of all my tools, just put the ones that I need daily at the fore, like, so I can get them in the morning and just go through when anything's like get a bit worried or anxious, or I can just have a little minute and have a little read over my tools, and then putting them into practice, and then using them, keep using them, I mean, and then it like becomes second nature. If you've used them and used them, you keep repeating good behaviours.
Because often a problem with the comfort zone is that we get complacent. You know, we've done it, so we believe we don't have to keep on doing it. Joan, I think you had maybe someone to come in.
Yeah, it was revisiting the comfort zone, and you know, I was in a comfort zone because I could have exercised at home, but it was going to mean a bit of hard work, and it was easier for me to go, do you know what, I'm okay with this. I know that down the line I'll be able to do it, but I'm just going to sit with it just now because it's going to be too much hard work. But now I'm much more motivated because gyms are open. It's much easier to actually do the work when you've got the equipment and stuff there. So I'm getting out of my comfort zone. It will be a bit of work because I've lost strength. I'm going to have to build it back up again. So we'll have to put some effort in. But I will recoup all that effort, and it will be worth it to achieve the goal that I want. And it's, as I said, it's not a big goal, but I'm motivated now, whereas I wasn't quite so motivated sitting in my comfort zone at home.
And I think I think that's sort of, you know, worth pointing out as well, is, you know, if you are comfortable in that pre-contemplation stage, if you are sitting in your comfort zone, providing you're happy there, you know, that's okay. That's okay. But it's when you're not happy sitting there, that's when you sort of have to take the bull by the horns and go, right, I need to make a change here because I'm making myself miserable sitting here. Yeah.
And it was getting to that stage where I was feeling, no, I'm now not so comfortable, you know. So that's where I needed to start thinking, right, I need to make a change.
And I think it's worth pointing out as well is you don't have to get it right first time. You know, you can prepare. You know, like Joan will use your example. You know, you were preparing. You joined the gym. You were raking out old sort of fitness plans and things that you'd used in the past. You take action and you go and carry that out. But it may be that doesn't fit anymore, and you need to go back and do a little bit of more preparation before you can actually carry out what it is that you know, your
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
I've had to go back a couple of times, Lindsay, where I've probably been in action. I'm learning how to change, and I'm changing, but then I went back to preparation where I need to get ready for change again, because
absolutely. And
these things happen.
10 points for who can tell us what that is called. When you're in action, but you go back to preparation and you do a little bit more rather than going back to pre-contemplation. We've got a name for that figure of 8 action.
That's into the maintenance stage, isn't it?
We all know, but Deb was going to tell us.
No, I'm there.
Resistance.
No. Recycling.
Right, recycling.
Oh, I've done a lot of that.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Recycling, that's it.
So we go back to preparation rather than saying, oh, this isn't working, and going back to pre-contemplation. We go back to preparation, see what else we can do, and then get back into action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recognise that.
And I think, like I say, it's very important to know. It would be easy to go, I tried, not doing it anymore, it doesn't work. You've got to then try and think, you know, and stay focused, I guess, is the key there, and think of another way. Best laid plans of mice and men and all that. You often hit snags, you know, it's real life. It's not a fairy tale. We're going to hit snags, and we're going to, you know, get hurdles that we need to get over, and staying focused on the end goal, I guess, is the key to that.
And the exercise of a learning journey, if we can do that, not every week or every month, but if we can do it every now and again, we can go back to that and we can see how we got through the challenges. As long as we don't lose focus of our goal, we will find ways through the challenges. We'll learn by the mistakes, but we'll still accomplish the goal. And that's another idea behind the learning journey. So you can reflect back and see, okay, it was really tough at that point, but I changed and I asked some questions of friends and etc. Looked at my recovery capital, looked at my resilience domains, and I worked my way through it. So yeah, lots of uses of this, simple tools.
And particularly now as well, I think that's very important, because you may have plans to carry out your goal, and then there's a decision happens where, you know, there's a spanner in the works that we're down to 6 people, 2 households. So that in itself might stop you in your tracks. And no amount of planning can get round that. It's a case of waiting and riding your time, depending on what your end goal is, of course. There may be other ways.
I had to revisit my plan, because I set up the start of a plan, and then when I got to the gym, some of the equipment that I used to use, like a TRX system, it's not available because they had to change all what was available to use, and it was too risky to use that. So I've had to revisit, right, I can't do that now, I have to think and go back and think of another plan. So lots of things along the way where you have to just revisit what your plans are. And
yeah, brilliant. That's excellent. Thanks very much, guys.
You're listening to Recovery on Air at Shmu 99.8 FM. Recovery, a journey of discovery.
Welcome back, everyone. So today we've spent talking about some tools that we've learned, particularly at the start of our recovery, about learning journeys and stages of change. And throughout, I think it's very valid, not just for people in recovery, but for everyone. You know, we've been sort of forced into this situation. And I think particularly what we were talking about before the break there, you know, you might have plans and then something will happen and it scuppers them. So you've got to sort of rethink how you move forward with that, which is very tough. I know my sort of my plan for getting back to the office this week was up in the air, and that's sort of put me a bit on the back foot as to what I was hoping for. And I know I won't be the only one. Dermot, I'm not sure if you were wanting to come in there and say something about that.
Yeah. It's so very evident that no matter how well focused we are or how well prepared we are, circumstances can change that really throw a big spanner into the works and make everything that we have or everything we have aspired to achieve or put into practice in the next period of time, it really just it stops. But you know, if another one of the tools that we may speak about next week or the following week is the resilience and resilience domains. And part of that is the social aspect and friendships and supportive relationships. And we all within our community know the importance of having others to bounce some stuff off of and to discuss things and to share that, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit, I'm not frustrated. But, you know, having that support network around about this and having that opportunity to discuss how we're feeling. And we find out that we're not the only ones to have this kind of negative thoughts and etc. But through that conversation, often new options that I haven't thought of will come to the fore. So you know, I may be having a conversation with Joan and speaking about, oh, couldn't manage to do this, couldn't manage to do that. And my head would be quite focused on trying to resolve my problem. And I won't see the option that Joan sees or that Stevie might see or that John might see. So having people, and that's part of the resilience factors, and it ties in with the recovery capital as well. But you know, the friendships, connections, support mechanisms, support resources, these are all very important to try and engage as best we can. And it can assist us to get through when our plans have been scuppered by circumstance, nothing that we can do about it other than maybe shift our sails a little bit. And you know, we can readjust our planning and there will be a resolution. The worst thing I can do is get sit and stuck in my frustration, because eventually I'll start blaming others for the circumstance I'm feeling, but eventually it comes full cycle and I start beating myself up. And that's a really kind of negative place for my head to go. So, you know, if we embrace these tools, hopefully we've all got an understanding of how they work. But if our conversation today has offered options, make some inquiries within your own cycles and see how you can engage in new options that you may not have considered. What about you, Stevie? Can you see how this links in?
I would advise people to start setting themselves little goals. It's important, even if it's just to have a good day. It's so important. Just you set yourself a little goal, and then once you get to the goal, if you move on to the next one, you just keep doing it, keep setting yourself goals and doing it, and sometimes it won't work, so you'll try something new. So yeah, it's important.
That comes back to sort of like the raising self-esteem and, you know, setting yourself those little goals. And they may seem little, but you know, if you say, right, I'm going to do my dishes, and you do them, you instantly get that lift.
Yeah, that's it, Lindsay. That's it. I couldn't put a proper word to it, but yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I think as was said last week, change, recovery is all about change. And that doesn't matter, you know, it really doesn't matter whether you're coming from a standpoint of coming from a past that may involve addiction through drug and or alcohol. But, you know, there's lots and lots and lots of problematic addictive behaviours out there that don't carry the same sort of stigma. but we can all get really caught up in them. But what we're really trying to suggest in the programme, and it's a conscious decision that we are now trying to broaden this and open it up, any and everyone can embark on a journey of change. Any and everyone can make use of the recovery tools that we speak about. They're out there, and if you can get an appreciation of how you use them, how you put them into action, you too can accomplish that goals that you may set. And that's all about change. If where I am is objectionable, I set a challenge to myself, I set a goal, I set something that will change my circumstances or my feelings or my thoughts. And how do I get towards that? Because I'm great at setting, I'm great at setting out things, yeah? If I'm a great intender. If only all my intentions came to fruition. But I need to take action to make my intentions come true. So the recovery tools we offer, we hope that people will start embracing this stuff, because we all need to change. Anyone else got anything to add to that little sermon?
No, I think that's great, Dermot. I mean, you know, that's it. It's you get people who can see the end result. You know, you're one of those people. You can see where you want to be. How you get there and what you do to get there can be the problem. You know, whereas I'm the opposite. I have problems seeing an end result or setting a goal. You know, or you know, I really am, particularly at the moment, I'm struggling to see 5 minutes in front of me, never mind, you know, weeks and months. I've got no concept of time anymore. Yeah. But if somebody comes to me and says, oh, I want to get here, you know, I can figure out how to do it. Yeah, so I guess it depends on everyone's mindsets, but absolutely this stuff is for everyone. You know, we can all make really good use of these tools at any point and in any circumstance that life throws at us. Like we say, this is real life. It's not a fairy tale. It's not smooth sailing all the time. There are bumps in the road. And it's how we manage that and get over those humps is how we succeed. So I think that's quite a nice way to end. If any of you want to find out some more information, you can go onto our website, www.aberdeeninrecovery.org. You can also email us, chatterbot@aberdeeninrecovery.org. You can follow us on social media, Facebook @Aberdeen in Recovery, and Twitter and Instagram is Republic_AiR. And don't forget, all our podcast versions of previous radio shows are on our YouTube channel, Aberdeen in Recovery. And if any of you guys out there are struggling with addiction, then I would urge you to contact Alcohol and Drugs Action. Their helpline is a free phone number. It's 0333 344 8355, or you can email them helpline@alcoholanddrugsaction.org.uk. Stevie, I think you were wanting to come in at the end there.
Yeah, we just kind of saying what you've been saying it just before the end there, Lindsay. I think everybody has went through a process of change in this last 6 months. We've all had to adjust and get used to wearing masks and going to shops and putting hand sanitizer on and just washing your hands when you come back in. That's all I was wanting to say.
Thanks, Stevie.
Thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
The flame in our name
is to shine a light onto the pathways of recovery,
which will build a bridge from dependence to independence
for the individual caught in the shadows of addiction
and looking for a way out.